Adding the choice of a crispy chicken BLT to Wendy's 4 for $4 is the biggest thing since rappers trying to sing.
I got me a yacht and I sound like a robot.
But do you like the sound of this? Wendy's 4 for $4 now comes with a choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT.
From Detroit to Macon, I keep it crisp like bacon.
Both are topped with crispy applewood smoked bacon and come with 4 nuggets, fries, and a Coke for just $4.
Oh, yeah.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time, meal includes small fries and a drink. Not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
Blog Talk Radio.
Older guys are better. Better at a lot of things. I'm more mature. I don't need people my age.
You don't want to.
Fine. Honestly, this is stupid. If you don't want to, then seriously, let's just get off the phone. 2 minutes? All right. Awesome. See you then.
We just got off the phone with him. Send him the decoy out.
There he is. Go out.
Guys, mix the puppy in. Mix the puppy. Can you hear me?
Rick, in here. Rick, are you coming? Come on. I need some drinks. Come in.
He's real sketchy, so there's a good chance he's going to run. He's real nervous.
Where are you going?
He's okay, so he's just stay tight. He's just looking for cops. Stay out of sight, guys. Stay out of sight.
Just paranoid.
Why are you paranoid? Just picture me naked and come on in.
Where?
You are a suspicious guy, Rick.
I wasn't planning on anything.
I just want to hear from you, that's all. Rick?
Good.
Well, they just come
Running. There, got him.
Well, explain to me what you did want, then.
I did not want any of this.
Hold on. He didn't run. He's standing at the doorway, so kind of just hide by the windows, guys. Chris has got him now. He's coming back to Chris.
I did not want this to happen.
Well, let me read to you the first line out of your mouth. Hello, how are you doing? Can I tease and please your blank with my tongue and make you blank over and over? Right after that, she tells you that she's 12. And then you show some reservations. I'm not arresting you.
They're arresting me.
Rick, I'm trying to understand
And
how.
there's
What are you?
nothing wrong.
You're 25. You ask if she's ever had sex before. She says, I almost, but I was kind of scared because I was told it hurt.
Just a tease.
All just a tease. Okay, then you say...
You feel comfortable? I mean, we could hear him yelling out here. Oh, yeah, no, he's not aggressive at all. He's just upset.
Do you find out
In
she's...
her profile, it says 102. How does Yahoo let these people online?
Rick, she tells you clearly that she's 12.
Profile and there's 102 age after.
So you're saying you thought you were talking to a 102-year-old woman who you wanted to sexually please?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Sounds like what you're saying.
Why can't people be honest?
I'm getting serious. Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet children online for sex. Now, if there's anything else you want to tell us, we'd be happy to hear it. If not, you're clearly free to walk right out the door you came in.
There's the whole reveal. He put his sunglasses on. Now he's pouring himself a drink. He's not happy, and he thinks he's not going to have a good day when he walks out.
But Rick, I think it's time to go.
He's coming out, guys. He's coming out. Oh, yeah, he's out. Anybody out there can come on in right now. He's in custody.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. Cause we've done this before, so you come on in. Make yourself at my home, tell me where you've been. Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this. Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes.
And good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Thursday night, April 7th, 2016. This is King Jordan Radio you are listening to. First of all, I want to thank the person that made this interview possible. Her name is Allison. She has not yet called in. But in any event, I'd like to thank everybody that is listening via iTunes all over the world and via KingJordanSportsAndMedia.com. Next week we will have Shane Velez Mitchell, and then the week after that, defense attorney Tom Mesereau. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored and pleased today to be joined with the man who formerly was the host of To Catch a Predator. He now resides on the ID Network. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, making his debut, I believe, we have Mr. Chris Hansen. Good evening, Chris, and welcome to King Jordan Radio. How are you?
Well, I'm great. Thanks for having me. How's everything with you?
Everything's good. We don't have our co-host. She has yet to call in. She did have a little butterflies because this would be her debut doing such a show. But I want to introduce you formally. We are all over the world. We do have we do shows every Thursday night. We have legal talks and stuff like that. Just to give you an example, we had Jody Arias' defense attorney last week. As you probably heard in the intro, we're going to have Michael Jackson's former attorney next week. And so that is, and we also do WWE on the side. But it's a great pleasure to have you now with that type of group. And it's a pleasure, definitely. Okay, first thing I want to start out with is because I don't see Allison here yet, but the show To Catch a Predator, which of course is still, seen by millions on YouTube. And first of all, you were a big part of that show, obviously. Now, can you share with my audience one of the most memorable episodes, which you'll always think back to and say to yourself, OMG, I will never, ever forget that episode?
Well, it's about a 100-way tie for first. So, as you know, we have the Killer Instinct show going on now on ID, and we actually
we will definitely get into that.
We also have the Hansen versus Predator, which we've already shot, so we're working on that, and we're in negotiations.
Which they did a parody on.
Yes,
right. That's good.
But I think, when we did that second episode, where the first guy in the door on a Wednesday afternoon at about noon was a rabbi. I don't know how. I was just so blown away. And then after that, there was a fellow who was a military guy. There was a teacher, and then a fellow who walked in completely naked. And at no time in my journalistic training or education at Michigan State University was I taught how to deal with somebody who walked into a sting operation essentially naked. And it was mind-boggling. And with each investigation, there were more and more people who came from all walks of life, people who would be standing next to you at a grocery store or the dry cleaners on a Saturday morning, but who do bizarre things and say things and get caught up in this in a way that I would never have imagined. Honestly, Jordan, at the beginning of this, I thought, we'd do this once or twice, and then nobody would show up. I'd be like the Maytag repairman, taking a nap on the kitchen counter.
Not to be.
But every time we did it, we had more people. It got to a point where we had an investigation set up on the Jersey Shore, and a guy walks in, and he puts his marijuana out in the counter, and he's talking to the decoy, and I walk in, and he looks at me. Before I can say a word, he says, "Oh, you're Chris Hansen." I said, "Well, how do you know that?" He said, "Well, I never miss an episode. When I do, I download them from the internet." It was stunning to me.
And what year was this about?
This was probably 07, 08. I think we did. The last original To Catch a Predator was '08, and then of course they were recut and re-aired multiple times on MSNBC and around the world. And even today, I mean, we did this investigation in Fairfield, Connecticut for Hansen versus Predator, and
right,
we had
which
everybody
is the new
from
one, right?
the new one, right? And we had everybody from an insurance executive in Boston to guys from Queens to a fellow who I had met on the commuter train from Connecticut to New York. I mean, it's
someone that you personally met on the way.
Personally met on a train, years ago on the commuter train, and
you would have no idea that later that would be.
No. I mean, it was stunning to me. And so when I saw him on the monitor, I didn't recognize him. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. And so when I walked out to confront him, he looks at me and says, Chris, no, it's not what you think. You can't do this to me. And the crew thinks he just knows me from television. And then suddenly I realize this is a fellow I know from the train. And so, again, it's the nature of this in terms of these fellows coming from all walks of life. And now, imagine in the beginning we merely put decoys on chat rooms on AOL and Yahoo. But now there are so many other social platforms, Kik and Badu, and I mean there are dozens and dozens and dozens that didn't exist before. So it's a whole new
generation
out there. And that's why we decided to go out there and do it again. I mean, it's a question that I was asked most on social media, in spite of all these other shows I'm working on. It's like, when are you going to do another Predator? And so we decided to, in fact, do it. And that's, why we're at where we're at now.
There's been a lot of questions that people have asked me, why don't you ever go after women? As we see in every day, especially in these last 10 years or so, the teachers that are women teachers are just growing by leaps and bounds. And I'm sure you realize that. Was it a case that you just couldn't find any? You didn't want to go for that? I mean,
well, no, it's honestly, we had one situation in Georgia years ago where a fellow said that he had a woman, his date, who wanted to be involved in a situation to meet a young girl for a sexual liaison. And I think he was just using that as a ploy to get, to the girl. But the experts will tell you that when it comes to female predators, you're more likely to see the teacher scenario that you mentioned earlier, because female predators do not like the anonymity. They like to know who they're going after. Male predators like the anonymity. So it wasn't that we didn't try to expose that end of it. It's just that I don't think it's as prevalent for women as it is for men. And does it happen? Yes.
The chat version,
I wrote about it in the book. Yeah, it does happen online, but it's not nearly as prevalent as men going after younger boys or girls.
And you were going to say you wrote about it on a book. Why don't you tell my audience what book you're talking about?
Well, I wrote a book called To Catch a Predator, protecting your children from online strangers already in your home. And the reason for the book was, we were gathering so much information on cases, on incidents, on things that could really teach parents, teach kids how to be safe, that we couldn't put in the shows. We didn't have time to put them in the shows. So I basically kept a stack of these notes and papers and letters and emails. And one day it occurred to me, it's like, well, I should turn this into a book. And so we did. And so that's out there, and people can get that. But it goes into a little bit more detail in terms of how to protect your children and the discussion you need to have with your kids in terms of online safety.
Now, we talked about all the oh my God people, but was there maybe one or two people that you possibly had compassion for that maybe they got themselves in the wrong situation and they were telling the truth, not in terms of the age or anything, but they really, honestly, it was their first time, like they all say. But was there one person that stands out that maybe, just maybe, he had a bad impulse control, could have got the right help, and maybe wouldn't have been in that situation if for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. And yeah, there have been a number of examples of that. I mean, I think these guys break down into three different categories. There are the heavy hitters, the guys who